Good afternoon and welcome to VA Memorial Stadium, home of your Chillicothe Paints. But throughout this time of year, so gracious to host so much of our fine high school baseball throughout the Southern Ohio Sports Authority coverage area. I'm Shane Combs alongside Carson Francis, and I feel like we have another really good one here this afternoon as the Cavaliers from Chillicothe will take on the Broncos of Western Brown. Carson, as I welcome you in, I know this Saturday afternoon is opening weekend for so many little leagues around Southern Ohio. That's always an exciting time.
Yeah, always an exciting time. Like I mentioned earlier this week, great time of year getting the spring athletes out. And for our younger guys in the area, always great to get them started. And, you know, maybe one day they'll be playing here at the VA, a beautiful facility we have here on this Saturday afternoon, playing here in some high school action. Just always nice to get all age levels in action this weekend, no different. Like you said, Shane, this is shaping up to be a pretty interesting matchup. Two teams with kind of similar records, similar program types, similar states of the program where they're at right now.
Well, you look at these two teams, Chillicothe out of the FAC. They are off to the 4-3 start, 1-1. They split with McLean. As we talk about how the other night we were on the air, FAC does that back-to-back type of scheduling that maybe you could tell the viewers a little bit more about. And then over Western Brown, they're out of the Southern Buckeye, out of the American Baseball Conference with some of those divisions. They're 2-4, 1-3. They too, we believe, looking at their schedule, do the same type of thing. We talked about that on the air a little bit the other night. For people that weren't with us, explain that to them a little bit in terms of, you know, so many conferences do the traditional, like what you would see in basketball, play, you know, 1 through whatever, however many you have, and then you start over and do it again. Where in baseball, when they do that, it has a lot to do with the pitching. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so for example, the FAC will use Chillicothe since they're playing today. On Monday, they battled McLean at home. Wednesday, they took on McLean over in Greenfield. Play it like a little mini series like you'd see in college or in the major leagues, where you play the same team twice, get them out of the way, and then you play the rest of your league the same way. I kind of like that in the sense that, you know, just keeps everything nice and organized, but also, you know, like you said, it's a pitching thing. You get to use, you know, when you can use your best pitchers, you know, when to send your best guys out there and to go compete. It's a pretty neat opportunity that the FAC puts together for its baseball teams. And then looking over for Western Brown, the Southern Buckeye Athletic and Academic Conference, they also do kind of the same thing, and their scheduling in that did get kind of thrown around a little bit on their opening week. They were supposed to play Goshen on a Monday, Wednesday. The Wednesday got rained out, pushed back to this past Thursday, but they do a similar format. They play home on Monday, away on Wednesday, vice versa, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, it is an interesting format. I think both those conferences get a little bit luckier in scheduling because they're smaller. I know here locally, the Side Valley Conference be very difficult to do that because you're getting up into the 14 games played. Something to certainly keep in mind on as you get into non-league games, as you get into some different pitching matchups. Let's take a look at some starting lineups here today to get to know the Broncos from Western Brown. Coach John Wistman, this is how he'll roll them out. Batting leadoff, playing shortstop, Montana Wells. The left fielder, Aiden Jeter, will bat second. In the 3-hole, the catcher, Carter Saylor. In the cleanup spot, the third baseman, Sammy Gravel. 5-hole is Xander Hamilton. He'll play right field. At first base and batting sixth is Aiden Hatter. In the 7-hole, Devin Rayner playing second base. In the 8-hole, center fielder, Dion Bradford. In batting ninth, the DH, Colton Ewing, and he'll be doing so for the pitcher, Brendan Miller, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the bottom half of the first inning. Once again, for Coach Wistman, that's Wells, Jeter, and Saylor. Top third. Middle third is Gravel, Hamilton, Hatter, and the bottom third, Rayner, Bradford, and Ewing. And Carson, you take a look at that lineup, and as you study Western Brown coming in a little bit, what jumps out at you about the Broncos?
Yeah, Western Brown last night, they took down another FAC team in Hillsboro 11-1. They scored all 11 of those runs in the 5th and 6th innings. So we know that this lineup from top to bottom is capable of putting together that big inning. We'll see if they can carry that late game momentum into this afternoon. The game was ended by a 3 RBI triple by Xander Hamilton in the 6th inning to get them to the 10-run rule. So, again, maybe some pop at the end of that game that the Broncos can look to carry over into this one and look to put together back-to-back wins.
No question about it. Looking at the other side of the scoreboard, your home team today, Chillicothe, who makes just the real short trip down the road here. Coach Barr will run them out this way, leading off his second baseman, Connor Bolin. The 2-hole, the center fielder, Jaden Gallagher. In the 3-hole, Tay Harris will play third base. Batting cleanup, playing shortstop, Eshawn Brown. The 5-hole hitter is the right fielder, Rucker Deddy. Batting 6th and playing first base, Aiden Scales. James Wrinkle will do the pitching. He'll bat 7th. Landon Day, he's your designated hitter in the 8-hole. He'll do so for the catcher, Ethan Parks. And then in the 9-hole, in left field, lead by Moss. One more time for Coach Barr. Top third of the order goes Bolin, Gallagher, Harris. Middle third is Brown, Daddy, Scales. And the bottom third, Wrinkle, Day, and Moss. And we will step aside here just momentarily for the national anthem, and we're getting closer and closer to first pitch. Welcome back in. Shane Combs, Carson Francis here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. So glad you're with us. And right before the national anthem there, Carson rolling down the lineup for Coach Barr. Tell us what you think about the Cavaliers here in 2026.
Yeah, they're coming off a 13-5 win over a Waverly squad right here at VA Memorial Stadium. This is a Chillicothe team that, they're losing a lot from a season ago. 5 seniors graduated, including the likes of a Mason Brown, who's now playing Division II college baseball at Ashland. And they've also dealt with some loss in the sense of, they had senior, most notably Truett McGlone, who we saw in football season this past year, was a great baseball player. He decided not to play baseball this year, so they're kind of working with a lot of younger, maybe some inexperienced guys. But so far, they've put together a decent start to the season, led by the 3-year starter in Connor Bolin. And then also, hitting-wise for the Cavaliers, really like what I've seen so far from Tay Harris. His last game, 3 for 4 with a double, 3 runs batted in. This Cavaliers squad still has some pop to it.
On the mound for Coach Barr here to get things started today, a left-handed pitcher, number 34, James Wrinkle. Oftentimes, Carson, we talk about it, you get a week like this. The sun has been shining and the weather's been pretty good. Not a lot of cancellations to report. So by the time you get to Saturday, your pitching can certainly get tested throughout it all.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice test for James Wrinkle and the Cavaliers pitching staff here, going against, again, a team that's got a red-hot offense from a night ago. And looking ahead, going into their league play starting on Monday, this will be a good test for this Cavaliers team to get right before they really got to be sharp for their league contest Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah, no question about it. Getting closer and closer to first pitch. If you're not as familiar with VA Memorial Stadium, it's a ballpark that, with the field turf, certainly is a big high school ballpark. The outfield defense is a premium. You'll see a lot more extra base hits here. Kids hustling out of the box, and the catcher under some pressure as well with the big backstop. So looks like we're about ready to get started. Shortstop Montana Wells will step in to face Wrinkle. Game time temperature, a beautiful 57 and sunny. The first pitch is in for a strike. It's supposed to get only warmer as the day goes on. We'll probably reach almost the mid-60s before Carson and I finish things up here. Strike one pitch, takes something off, gets a ground ball over just onside the third baseline, and couldn't tell if it was going to go foul. Harris fielded it in play, and the throw across brings Skell up the line a little bit, and Wells with this good speed going to beat it out, and looks like we're going to start with an infield hit there for Wells and the Broncos.
Errors have been a little bit of an issue for Chillicothe in the early stages of this season. Their 10-0 loss to McLean on Wednesday. The Cavaliers committed 7 errors in that shortened game.
Two-hole batter, left fielder Aiden Jetter, bats it from the left side, which gives us a little left-on-left matchup here for Wrinkle. He fouls that first pitch back. Good speed from Wells over there at first. Be interesting to see if they get a look at this lefty move. Wrinkle with the long hold. That one also fouled away, so Wrinkle does a good job of getting out in front. Had 2 strikes on Jetter.
Wrinkle came in and pitched the last 2 innings of that game against Waverly. Only allowed just 1 hit, struck out 4.
Yeah, for the most part, when he settles in right around the plate, that time he steps off, a little snap throw just to keep Wells honest. Chillicothe plays it pretty straight away all the way around with Scales holding the runner on at first. 0-2 pitch, runner on the move. It misses low. Throw down, little offline. Wasn't going to matter anyway. Wells had a great jump, and with great speed, he steals the base. Early opportunity here for the Broncos to play out in front. Carson, good time. 0-2, sometimes you anticipate that off-speed pitch, and that's a good one to run on. The 1-2 delivery, right on the outside corner. Swing and miss. Big strikeout there for Wrinkle to get the first out of the inning as Wells will continue to run out at second.
It's a good way to respond after giving up the hit to lead off and getting the stolen base. Strike out the guy in front of you.
3 holes, Carter Saylor batting from the right side. Curveball, first pitch swing and ground ball. Brown charging hard. Throw on the run is a good one. Over to Scales. Wells does move up on the out, but the Chillicothe will certainly trade that second out for that 90 feet. So now your 2-out batter will be Sammy Gravel with Wells 90 feet away trying to get on the board here early for Western Brown. Gravel also batting from the right side. He's the third baseman. First pitch takes a little off. Outstanding job for Ethan Parks. We talked about the big backstop here. Anything that gets away with the speed of Wells would certainly bring him home. So, outstanding job there by the catcher.
Gravel walked 4 times last night in that win over Hillsboro.
Thought about the swing, couldn't hold up. That pitch moved off the outside of the plate. Umpire said he went, so that'll even count 1-1. It's an interesting point there, Carson. With first base open, RBI spot, you want to make him hit your pitch. Stays away from him a little bit there, and he fouls it out over by the playground. And again, Wrinkle working ahead in the count. Just underway here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs, Carson Francis, glad you're with us here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Curveball, left that one up a little bit, fouled back. Gravel would probably like to have that one back. Gallagher, somewhat shallow in center, playing straight away. There's the pitch. Ground ball just off the plate, foul. Pretty good battle going on here between Wrinkle and Gravel. You could tell Wrinkle doesn't really want to give in with the fastball in the zone.
I was going to say, this is a great effort by Gravel, just staying alive with 2 strikes, 2 outs.
There's a fastball out of the zone. Probably just a show-me pitch to probably come back with the off-speed here, but nonetheless, good pitch, good take. 2-2 now the count. Curveball down, held on well by Ethan Parks. Good strikeout for James Wrinkle, and that keeps the Broncos off the board as we come to the end of the first inning. Nothing showing for the Broncos. Cavaliers coming to bat. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here in Chillicothe at the VA Memorial Stadium, home of the Chillicothe Paint. Shane Combs, Carson Francis here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Good non-conference matchup for you today, the Chillicothe Cavaliers and the Western Brown Broncos. Broncos got the first crack out it. Did get Wells on, got him all the way over to third, and Chillicothe able to pitch out of that. Now the Cavaliers offense will take its shot to play out in front, and they'll look to their outstanding leadoff hitter, Connor Boland, second baseman. Carson, you're telling me a little bit off the air. Then I know in our pregame you mentioned him. Terrific player, obviously, as a lot of teams would tell you. They go as their top of the order goes, but Boland, big factor for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, 3-year starter, a guy who is looked upon as a leader on a team with not a lot of veteran leadership. Again, we talked about the 5 seniors who graduated from a season ago. The 2 guys that were going to be seniors decided not to play. Connor Boland is a guy who's spearheading the charge for the Cavaliers this season, and they looked him to do some damage early as the leadoff man.
For Western Brown, they'll be facing there the Brendan Miller, the right-handed pitcher. Going to work pretty much out of the stretch is what I've noticed here. Boland shows bunt. Just see how the defense react. Maybe taking all the way, hard to tell, but misses off the plate. 1-0 to start the bottom of the first inning. Now Miller to the plate again. He does show bunt. And trying to get it down on the turf. Gravel charging hard at third. Red to hands all the way, but foul, and that'll even count 1-1.
Miller, a .350 ERA, 2 appearances this season. Thrown 6 innings, struck out 4.
Corner still drawn in, thinking maybe bunt. Now it looks like he's swinging away. Off-speed misses just off the outside corner, so it puts Boland out ahead of the count 2-1.
A good breaking ball action, just couldn't find the spot he wanted.
Now going to show bunt again, pulls back, swinging all the way, swings through it. Count evens at 2-2. Now it looks like Gravel at third and Hatter at first will move back a little bit from where they originally were. Swinging pops it straight up on the infield. Let's see who takes charge. Should be the shortstop normally, and that's what we do get here as Montana Wells calls everybody off and hauls it in for the first out of the inning. Always talk about fly ball communication. That shortstop pretty much rules the things up the middle there along with his second baseman, and Wells does a good job there of control immediately. So now Jaden Gallagher will step in, the center fielder. He bats it from the left side. He, too, is going to show bunt. He's going to drop it there. Right out in no man's land. Good speed getting down the line. Miller coming in, Saylor coming out, and even if he picks that up cleanly, I don't think he has a play. That's probably hit all the way. I think the scoreboard agrees with me out there.
It's a good way to get a runner on base early. Gallagher showing off the speed, laying down the bunt right in front of home place, and the first baseman playing up. Gallagher makes him pay for it.
Tay Harris is the one-out base runner as Miller will take a look over at the speedy Gallagher. Gallagher there with one out. Let's see if Coach Bard decides to push the run game here early. Good slide step on that off-speed pitch. Had Harris out in front, swing and a miss. Miller working from the stretch pretty much exclusively. Obviously a little bit more comfortable than in controlling the run game. Pretty quick to the plate that time. Now he comes set. Check of a runner. Again, an off speed. That time Harris stays back on it a little bit more and shoots it right back up the middle into center field for a base hit. Gallagher stops at second. Now Chillicothe in business. 2 on, 1 out with Eshawn Brown, the cleanup hitter.
It's a good piece of hitting there by Tay Harris. Just lofted it just enough to where nobody could get there in time. Drops right in front of the center fielder for a base hit. Cavaliers threatening early.
Eshawn Brown, obviously outstanding athlete. Good chance to see him on the winner. He too gonna bunt there. He bunts it up the first baseline, and again hard to handle. And even there on the pickup, and I think they're going to rule that an error, which I understand. But I'll be honest, from where we're sitting, I think he beats it out anyway.
Yeah, I agree. But also you just got to factor in catcher had a hand on it, just couldn't field it cleanly. And, again, Cavaliers now load the bases. Chance to add on early.
Rucker Daddy, the right fielder, is going to swing it left-handed. First pitch swing, ground ball second base. They need 2. Those Wells 1 over the first base. Bang, bang play. Good hustle from Daddy getting down the line to beat it out. And as a result, going to equal a run. So the fielder's choice RBI will go 4-6. And again, put a little star next to that hustle. Easy off the bat. Sometimes Carson maybe put the head down. You didn't hit it the way you wanted to, but Daddy getting out of the box. Been impressed with Chillicothe's speed here at the top part of the order. So first and third. Runner's going to go. They're going to throw down to third to check. Good throw. Sliding back in there is Harris. So Daddy will move up on that stolen base, and then Aiden Scales will look to play a little add-on here for the Cavaliers. He's ahead in the count 1-0. Takes that pitch just a little off the plate, maybe a little up. Good RBI spot here for Scales, ahead in the count. Second and third for the Cavaliers with 2 outs. Fouls it straight back. Had a good pitch to hit there. Harris from third. Daddy from second. Aiden Scales, the 2-out batter. Already a run in. Single would probably equal 2 more. Off speed all the way to the outer half. Good job working there from Carter Saylor, the Broncos backstop. Carson, this is one of those spots, 3-1, where first base open. You don't necessarily have to give in. Paints the corner. Pretty good pitcher's pitch there to run the count full.
It's good patience here by Aiden Scales, just waiting on the right one now. Time to go to work.
Pretty big pitch early in this game at this point. 3-2, 2 outs, and he misses up, and that's going to load the bases. As Carson said, good patience, good discipline from Scales, not chasing one out of the zone, anxious in that RBI spot. And you talk about helping yourself. Pitcher James Wrinkle going to step in, and boy, could he in this situation. Right now, if you're Western Brown, you get out of this at 1-0, not the end of the world. If Wrinkle's able to find some of that beautiful green turf out there in the outfield, Chillicothe got a chance to play a little add-on here. Pitch just inside. Followed Chillicothe an awful lot. Had a chance to see him in person just a few innings, but now seeing them today, been real impressed with their athleticism. Even here in the middle of the order, they put a lot of pressure on defenses with their ability to run.
Yeah, we saw that with the bunt single from Eshawn Brown to get on base. That, you said put a star next to that. That helped him get a run by moving that lead runner over to third. But yeah, just a lot of guys top to bottom that can make you pay running the bases.
2-0, and that ball's hit hard to center field. Coming in on the dive, they say it's down. A couple runs are going to score. Now they'll throw it over to third base, and they've got the – no, they said he dropped the ball. He was ready to call him out, and then it looked like the ball popped out of there, and Coach Barr there ready to assist the umpire, pointing to the ball right away, and so that's a 2-run single for James Wrinkle. Chillicothe now leads it 3-0. Landon Day, your designated hitter, will bat out of the 8-hole.
Day 1 for 4, 2 runs batted in the win over Waverly.
They start the runner again. They thought about the throw down the third, but that time Saylor ends up holding it. So just like that, Chillicothe right back in a second and third spot. Day goes backside. That ball, if it's able to get down inside the line, and it does, that's going to bring 2 more Cavaliers home. And all of a sudden, this turned into a 5-run first inning for the Chillicothe Cavaliers. So Chillicothe, with their speed early, Carson, set the table, as you say, and then give credit to Wrinkle and Day. They produce.
Yeah, Day did a great job taking that ball opposite way, putting it just in the right spot in fair ground to drive home 2. It's a big first inning from the Cavaliers.
Yeah, no question. They bat all the way around as the 9-hole brings Levi Moss, the left fielder, to the plate. Swinging first pitch. Hits it high up into the air, up into the sun there, and first baseman Hayden Adder will haul it in, and that will finally bring the bottom of the first inning, but not before Chillicothe plates 5. They lead at 5-0. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Paints will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
A 5-run bottom of the first inning has Chillicothe comfortably out in front. Still a lot of baseball to play, but as James Wrinkle goes back to the mound, certainly gives the lefty a little bit more comfort playing with the 5-run advantage. But he was involved in that, Carson, quite a bit with his 2-run RBI shot to the backside there. Almost an outstanding play from center fielder Dion Bradford, but the umpire immediately out there saying it was down, and that was a big hit.
Yeah, always nice when a pitcher can help his own cause. James Wrinkle does just that. And now he's got some breathing room out there on the mound. Your offense goes out and puts up a 5 spot to open up the first inning. Let's see how James Wrinkle settles down now that his team has a sizable cushion here in the second.
Yeah, it's a great point, Carson, because in the day of the pitch count, you come into the bottom of the order here for Western Brown, but as you said, some good athleticism up and down the lineup. the ability to command the strike zone, work out in front. That'll be something to pay attention to here from Wrinkle. Leadoff batter for the Broncos here in the top of the second inning. Be the right fielder, Xander Hamilton. Wrinkle adjusts his cap there. Now checks all his fielders. Now he's ready to go here, top of the second inning. First pitch catches outside corner. Good frame there from Ethan Park. Strike one. Working rather quickly. Right back to the plate there. Tries that same spot. Hits it again. 0-2. So back to back. Good command of that outside corner, and now way ahead. The 0-2 pitch takes a little bit off, and that was just a really good sequence. Stayed away from him the whole time. Gets the strikeout.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night by James Wrinkle, and a great job by Ethan Parks, the catcher, too, on those first two pitches, being able to set him up on that outside corner to where Wrinkle could just go right down the chute on pitch number 3.
First pitch to the 6-hole, Aiden Hatter in there for a strike. So just as we were looking for entering the inning, would Wrinkle be able to attack the zone? He's been able to do so on both hitters getting ahead. That one misses away to even the count 1-1. Now coming back, goes upstairs just a little bit, gets the swing and miss. You know, Carson, I always felt like these days were a little bit tricky for kids because you start clear back at 10 o'clock with some BP and so forth, is the swing and miss, back-to-back strikeouts, and then it's only going to get warmer as the day goes. So, you know, it's being comfortable and making sure that you pack correctly, especially for the pitcher. Just you want to stay just right as you move into the game and then through the game, because like I said, by the time we're done here, it's probably going to be in the mid-60s. First pitch swinging right down the line. Backhand Harris shows off that strong arm across. That was well done. And pretty quick top of the second for Wrinkle and the Cavaliers. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. 5-0 Cavaliers. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build. People want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Welcome back to bottom of the second inning. Chillicothe Cavaliers, they batted around in the first inning, so we're going to be right back where we started with Connor Bolin coming to the plate. And Carson, never a bad thing when your leadoff hitter leads off both the first and second innings. That means the first inning must have went pretty well, and it certainly did for Chillicothe, scoring 5.
Yeah, not at all a bad inning for Chillicothe, and it was really, you and I talked about that middle of the order that kind of got things going. You know, runners were already on, but that middle of the order was able to bring them home and really open things up for this Cavalier batting order. Look for more of the same here as we get to the second inning, second time around for this Chillicothe lineup.
Bolin ended up hitting that high fly ball into the middle of the infield to Wells to get things started, so he 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Brendan Miller back to work for the Broncos. Gets the swing and miss, and you know, I thought Miller threw the ball okay in the first inning. He very easily could have been out of that with no damage. Remember, it was a double play ball off the bat of Rucker Deddy to the second baseman, and as that ball misses away, 1-1. He went to Wells, and Wells throw across, and it was a bang-bang play at first. The hustle of Deddy ended up getting that first run across and kept the inning alive for Chillicothe to add on. Foul ball there at the plate, so Miller ahead 1-2. Just goes to show you, Carson, just every single play, every rep, just got to play really, really hard, and the game will reward you. And I thought that's what happened to Chillicothe with their speed in the first inning. 1-2 pitch. Left it out over the plate. Bolin puts a good swing on it, hits a shot in the left field. That's a leadoff base hit here in the bottom of the second.
It was nice power shown by Connor Bolin. Didn't get all of it, but he got just enough to get it over the third baseman into left field. And Chillicothe's offense picking up right where it left off from the first.
Yeah, already the fifth hit. We're just to the second batter here in the top of the second inning. Gallagher reached on the bunt hit. That time swinging away, got in on his hands. Fly ball back. Outstanding effort here from Carter Saylor on the diving effort. Heads up base running by Connor Bolin. Again, we talked about the incredible amount of foul ground here at the VA. So he tags up right away and moves up, but that was an outstanding play by Saylor.
Yeah, incredible job tracking that ball by Saylor, going back there right at the backstop too. Could have been a lot more dangerous heading back towards that wall, but he did a great job tracking it, and also, like you said, great job on the bases from Bolin tagging up to second.
With that tag up, now in scoring position for the three-hole Tay Harris. Harris shows bunt. Drops it really well up the third base line, but just a little wide. And again, we talked about the athleticism and the versatility of Chillicothe. We watched Eshawn Brown out of the four-hole bunt there in the first inning. Here's Harris showing bunt. I like that he missed it foul. You know, you'd always tell kids, miss foul on strike one. Don't miss back to the pitcher. You know what I mean? If you're trying to hit that third base line, then get a little picky there on that strike one. I'll come back. Let's see if he decides to swing away. He does, but taking 1-1.
It's a good spot for Tay Harris. He's been driving in some runs pretty efficiently for this Cavalier offense, and now with the runner in scoring position, a chance to add another.
Takes the curveball there for a strike. Now he's behind 1-2. He had the base hit back in the first inning. That allowed Gallagher to move up and kind of set the table for what ended up being a big 5-run Cavalier inning. Miller tries to come upstairs a little bit. Evens the count 2-2. See if Miller goes back to the breaking ball here. When he's located it, it's been a pretty good pitch for him. His fastball, runner going, throw down. And they said he missed him. So the ball beat him there, but good slide. Kind of gets in before the tag, and with one out.
I'm like you. I thought that ball got there in plenty of time. Just maybe a miscue on the tag there that results in Connor Bolin being safe at third.
Now Bolin will lead for third. Pitch to Harris, lifts a fly ball out shallow right. 3 Broncos coming in on it. Hamilton takes over and makes the catch, and Bolin will bluff, but will stay there. So now with 2 outs, it'll be up to Eshawn Brown to pick his buddy Harris up and get the run in. Brown had what Carson and I felt like was really close to a bunt hit, went down as an E2. But nonetheless, was one of the base runners. Now, he was actually forced out. He did not score one of those 5 runs because he was forced out on that Rucker Deddy ball that I explained earlier with the good hustle, the stout of the double play. Back-to-back swing and misses, 0-2. Good job there by Saylor. Miller has that good breaking pitch, but it puts a lot of pressure on Saylor, and so far he's been up to the challenge to keep it in front.
If you're Saylor, you just got to focus on the guy in front of you. Don't even worry about the guy at third. There's 2 outs. Just focus on getting out of this inning.
0-2 pitch, again, an outstanding job from Saylor. Carson is kind of in that first inning. Chillicothe's just won a lot of 2-out spots. As I said, Western Brown had a chance to get out of that first inning with a lot less damage. Chillicothe ended up winning about 3 2-out spots. Here, they were able to survive one with Harris, now ahead of Brown. Chance to get out of the inning again. Pitch off the outside corner, going to even the count 2-2. Miller gets the sign, now comes set. Pitch, that ball's hit high in the air, out over top of shortstop. Center fielder coming in. That's Dion Bradford. He calls off his shortstop Wells, and he hauls it in for the final out of the inning. Good job of Miller pitching around a little trouble. Chillicothe 5, Western Brown 0. We go to the top of the third inning. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Off to the top of the third inning we go. Shank Holmes, Carson Francis here at the VA Memorial Stadium, bringing you this Chillicothe Western Brown non-conference Saturday afternoon baseball. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Broncos as Bradford, Ewing, and Wells will come to the plate, and Coach Wisman and his Broncos hope a lot more. But so far, the lefty, James Wrinkle, working on the one-hit shutout with 4 Ks. What do you like about him so far?
He's just gone out and attacked, really like what he brought in that previous inning, and he goes right back to work here, delivering a first pitch strike. But he's just done a great job getting ahead of the count and sitting guys down early.
You mentioned the strike one there. It's kind of been a key. Is that ball hit pretty well out to center field. Gallagher drops steps and battles the sun there a little bit and hauls it in. So, again, the efficiency of James Wrinkle's been really, really good, and he's able to get the lead man Bradford there.
And I like how you brought up efficiency, because not only is Wrinkle getting outs, but he's getting them quick.
Certainly doesn't hurt that pitch count when you're able to do it early like that. And that strike one there, that's been a pitch he's been dialed in on, working that outside corner to the righties. He and his catcher Parks seem to be on a really good page there on hitting that spot. 1-1 pitch, takes something off and drops it right in there. So, again, as Carson mentioned, his ability to work ahead, the ability to work quick. Swing and miss, gets a strikeout. That's number 5 on the afternoon already for James Wrinkle. Takes us back to the top of the order. Montana Wells had the infield hit. That was that ball that just kind of, you weren't sure if it was going to be fair or foul, and he was able to beat it out with his speed up that third baseline. Wrinkle starts him off speed and drops it in for the strike. And that's the other key when we talk about that, Carson. It's the ability to throw both the fastball and the off speed for a strike.
I think using one to the other's advantage, you set someone up for the off-speed with the fastballs or vice versa.
Foul ball at the plate keeps Wells alive, and I know as a defender, you like when that pitcher's throwing strikes. You like when the pitcher's working fast, and you can tell Wrinkle and Parks on the same page, and the lefty catches it, and he's ready to go. That one misses away. 1-2 count. Still an opportunity for Western Brown to go with the speed of Wells if they can get a 2-out base runner. Wrinkle takes something off. That ball's hit straight up in the air, high into the air. Let's see who in the infield is going to take control. If the pitcher, Wrinkle, will go ahead and do it, and he'll haul it in, and that's a quick 1-2-3 inning. So after 2.5, Chillicothe leads at 5-0. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place. And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Off to the bottom of the third inning we go. Chillicothe with that big first inning. They lead at 5-0. And, Carson, I guess the story on the offensive side so far, if I was going to pick one out, would be the speed and versatility of the Chillicothe order. That's just my opinion. And then, obviously, on the defensive side, James Wrinkle's been terrific.
Yeah, again, that big first inning from the middle of the order showing off the speed and athleticism. And then Wrinkle, who's also helped his own cause hitting, but he's just gone out and attacked, gotten guys out early, and putting the Cavaliers in a good spot here with a 5-0 lead. Looking to add on to it in the bottom of the third.
Going to be 5-6-7 for Coach Barr and his Cavaliers. Deddy, Scales, and Wrinkle.
Brendan Miller, the Western Brown pitcher, had a nice response there in that second inning. Let's see if he can have a little more of that here in the third. Not a great start, but this guy can go out and battle. And it appears we're going to have a new pitcher here for Western Brown.
Looking here at our roster, that I don't know.
I'll get you a name and number. That's going to be the designated hitter, Colton Ewing. Is that number? That's number 14, correct? Well, that's what it said. No. Well, there's two Colton Ewings on here. Maddox Barker is going to be the pitcher. There's 2 number 14s on this roster. That explains it.
Okay, so Maddox Barker will take over on the mound. Gets a chance to get loose there a little bit, and Coach Wisman will ask him to try to keep it right where it's at to see if his offense can't get something going. Rucker Daddy will lead us off here in the bottom of the third inning. He hit the RBI fielder's choice. If you're just with us, he had a ground ball, looked like a double play that was going to get completely out of the inning without a run scoring. He beats it out for the first run of the game, and Chillicothe ended up plating 4 more runs in that inning to go at 5-0. He hits an identical ground ball to second base. This one will just toss over to first base. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's exactly what you want to see from a new pitcher, getting that first pitch out, that early ground ball to get the first out. Good job by Barker, the new pitcher. If my fact-checking is correct, according to what Western Brown has put in on the Southern Buckeye Athletic Conference website, this is Barker's first pitching appearance of the season.
Well, and again, you're looking, we talked about that. You come in, we've had good weather all week long, so you've played most of your games, and you get to Saturday and you get into these middle innings, and it can start to really, really test your pitching staff. A lot of times as a coach, you have it planned out in terms of who's going to start the game, but how many pitches will they throw and how it'll go, sometimes that's the mystery. That early ground ball in the inning, that's Devin Rayner to Aiden Hatter on that put out, 4-3. Now Aiden Scales is the one-out batter. That pitch called strike there on the bottom outside corner. Catches enough of the zone. Scales walked and scored back in the 5-run first. Pitch a little low. Barger, like Miller, working exclusively from the stretch. You'll see that front foot just out in front a little bit. He uses that to kind of help himself load a little bit. Fly ball out over top of second. Center fielder Bradford coming in. Outfielder Hamilton coming over. Bradford calls him off and hauls it in. Good communication there for the Broncos. Oh,
it hit the ball hit the ground, landed between two outfielders, and now Scales is aboard with one out.
Oh, I apologize. I looked down on my book too much and did the Cardinal sin of assuming. Thank you, Cars. So that's going to be.
I think they're going to rule that an error against the Broncos.
Yeah, it looked like good communication. Up and in there.
I think it was good communication to a fault. Just nobody could decide who was going to catch it. Just falls right between two guys, and Cavaliers get a runner aboard.
And a lot, look, you don't want to assume what's being said all the way out there. A lot of times that's the center fielder's ball if he calls it from the fly ball communication, and maybe did so a little late. It's, again, impossible to know from clear up here. Back-to-back pitches well inside, but the first one was the bunt attempt from Wrinkle. That one he takes, so it's 1-1. Swing and a miss there. Strike two, 1-2 here. So Scales reaching on the air. He's the one-out base runner over at first. Maddox Barger here in his first inning of work, trying to pitch around the one-out air. Good pitch to the outside, gets the swing and miss. That'll be a strikeout. Obviously Barger's first, but actually that's the first Western Brown pitching staff of the afternoon here. Chillicothe's done a pretty good job, Carson, putting the ball in play. 2 outs now. Designated hitter Landon Day. Big 2-run RBI hit back in that 5-run first.
That was a great display of opposite field hitting from Day. Dropped it right beside the right field line and drove in 2.
It's just off the outside. They're going to throw on down the first as Saylor throwing down to Hatter. Hatter did a nice job of keeping that ball in the infield, knocking it down, not letting it. Give Hamilton a lot of credit out there and right. Good to see outfielders engaged, moving the back up, involved in every pitch. Pitch on the outer half fouled back. Like both catchers have done a pretty good job here today. Carter Saylor on this side and Ethan Parks on the other. Runner going there, pitch in, throw down. Not going to be a time. Actually goes on out in the center field, but again, Bradford doing a nice job sprinting in the back up and gives Scales the stolen base and yet another RBI opportunity for a Cavalier. And again, Landon Day, who's already got 2 RBI on the day, trying to add to that. Barger comes set. We're going to have a timeout at the plate. I believe that was Day that asked for it. Now it looks like we're set and ready to go again. Big spot here for the Broncos. Can't afford to give any more. Already down 5-0. There's a pitch on the inner half, and Day will draw the walk. And you almost feel like once the stolen base of Scales put him into scoring position that the Broncos didn't really like that particular matchup. And with first base open, now going to take their chances here with Levi Moss.
And we're going to have a pinch runner on first base. It'll be Walker Throne coming in to run for Landon Day, or maybe not.
Oh, I wonder if they thought that, well, I don't know.
No, Walker Throne was about halfway down to first base before he gets sent back to the dugout, so Landon Day will stay at first for the Cavaliers.
First pitch swinging, ground ball to short. Wells has it. He'll throw across, and that will do it. So Western Brown able to dodge a bullet there, keep it at the 5-0 score. We've played 3. Shane Combs, Carson Francis, appreciate you being with us. Stay with us here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Off to the top of the 4th inning with Chillicothe out in front 5-0. It'll be 2-3-4 for Coach Wisman and his Western Brown Broncos. You know, Carson, going back to that spot where Throne was out there, I think they're probably in a position using the courtesy runner here in the non-league, but in this particular situation, the catcher Parks was not the hitter, because remember, that's the DH spot, and that's my guess on what happened there, so that's why that young man was called back. Aiden Jeter, Carter Saylor, Sammy Gravel, they'll take their second try here against James Wrinkle in the top of the 4th inning as Western Brown trying to get something going. Left-on-left matchup, fastball up and in for a ball 1. Jeter went down swinging in the 1st inning. Time he fouls one off the first base side. Again, looking down here at my book, James Wrinkle, 5 strikeouts without a walk, only allowed the 1 hit. He's been really, really good to this point. There's a swing and a miss. And as the theme's been throughout the day, you look at the first 3 pitch sequence, and James Wrinkle usually finds himself ahead, not behind. There's a ball that finds its way into right field for a base hit. So a little bit of offensive life here as Jeter starts the inning with a runner, and as the heart of the order starts to come up, maybe an opportunity for the Broncos to get something going.
Yeah, it's like in basketball, you know, sometimes you just got to see one go in. Maybe for Western Brown, they just needed to see one get on base to get some life in their batting order. Good leadoff hit there from Jeter.
Pitch inside misses, ball 1. Saylor hit the ground ball to shortstop. Eshawn Brown was able to record that out back in the 1st inning. Long hold there. Now comes to the plate, catches that outside corner, 1-1. Been impressed with Wrinkle's ability. So important when you're on the left side. You have an advantage. You got to be able to really control that running game, give your catcher a great opportunity. Now the pitch. This has got a double play opportunity. Second baseman, shortstop over to first, but it's going to go high there. That was Bolin to Brown, and then as they come over, ended up drawing Scales off the bag. Be no error on the throw. Can't assume the double play, so it's going to go down as a force play, 4-6 on the put out. So that'll eliminate Jeter from the base pass, and Carter Saylor will be the base runner. Now, with him being the catcher, it does look like we have a courtesy runner. Carson, can you see that number for me?
It is number 4. Let me get a name for you real quick on that. Carson Parker, the pinch runner at first for the Broncos.
Wrinkle comes set, comes home there. That ball gets away. Had some funky spin on it. Parker will head on out to second, round there, and he'll hold there. Pretty good effort from Parks. Just that ball looked like it had some unique English as it hit that turf.
As the ball often does here on the VA turf.
Just a beautiful afternoon for baseball. That's the outside corner, and again, that's been a favorable spot for him against the right-handers. Wrinkle and Parks have decided to stay out there quite a bit. Misses down there. Even actually puts him ahead in the count now. Gravel ahead 2-1, and a lot of times the adjustment there, Carson, is you just got to let the ball get deep and try to shoot it the other way. Let's see if the Broncos can make that adjustment. Now Wrinkle will step off and check on Parker out there at second. Now the pitch misses to the inside. You'll see Bolin and Brown from their second and shortstop positions respectively kind of interchange in and out, but the key is to communicate. You don't want to get stuck there at the bag when Wrinkle's ready to come home. So a lot of times teams will kind of communicate number of looks or that type of thing. And that's the first base on balls there for Western Brown. They'll certainly take it as they need base runners. So Sammy Gravel reaches with the walk, and Xander Hamilton will be the one-out batter with 2 on. He struck out back to start the second inning.
It's a good opportunity here for the Broncos to chip away at this deficit. 2 runners on, and you've got Xander Hamilton at the dish. He fouls one away there.
Yeah, got a pretty good pitch to hit. Fouled it up over top of the Western Brown dugout. Just trying to make the pitcher work a little bit. Wrinkles, because of his efficiency, the pitch count's been able to stay down. This is probably the first tough spot that he's found himself in. Pitch misses down and in. Chillicothe infield around left to right with Harris, Brown, Bolin, and Scales. Got to know where you're going with the baseball if it's hit to you. There's a fly ball backside to right. Deddy had started back, now comes in, and the ball falls in front. I don't think he got a real good read off of that. Parker had to hold at second base to try to tag, so when the ball goes down, he won't be able to score. But nonetheless, going to load the bases. And off the bat, it looked to me like Deddy, as you tell kids, first step back, but I just don't think he got a real good read on it. Sometimes that's a tough field to play out there and right in the sun here early in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Rucker Deddy thought that ball was probably going to fall foul, but also just, again, your first step back, couldn't get the best read on it, and it looks like that's going to be all we see from James Wrinkle.
Certainly did an outstanding job. 3 1/3 and didn't allow a run, although he will be responsible for these 3 Broncos on base. So we'll mark down. And while we get the pitching change, let's step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll let you know about the new Cavalier pitcher. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Welcome back here at VA Memorial Stadium. We got a pitching change for the Cavaliers. Carson, go ahead and introduce us to the new pitcher.
New pitcher for Chillicothe is going to be Levi Moss coming in from left field. James Wrinkle will head out to left field. Just a traditional swap between the two spots. Moss making obviously his first appearance on the mound today. He last pitched this season, if I can find it. He's pitched before. This is going to be his first pitching appearance in quite some time, but obviously tight situation here for Moss with the bases loaded, 1 out for the Cavaliers.
His first pitch looks like he takes a little bit off. Gets the anxious Aiden Hatter to swing through it. Hatter was a strikeout victim back in the second inning swinging.
This is going to be Moss's first pitching appearance since April 2nd in a 7-6 win over Piketon. Came in, gave up a hit, and walked 2 batters.
Pitch in there, swinging a miss. Of course, a lot of times when you're down the number on the pitching staff there, you just got to have yourself ready. You know what I mean? A lot of times you'll go through those times, and you just got to have yourself ready. What a big spot this is, and he finds himself ahead 1-2. There's an off-speed pitch that just misses. According to the umpire, it looks like he was signaling that ball is up. So 2-2. Big opportunity here for Western Brown to try to get back in this. The pitch, there's a ground ball, third base. Harris will go and step on the bag. He'll throw across the infield, and he doubles him up. That arm strength has paid off a couple times today. None bigger than that time as Levi Moss comes in and does a job thanks to the defensive effort from Tay Harris. So it stays Chillicothe 5, Western Brown 0. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back here as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and what a job by Levi Moss. You come out of left field, bases loaded, 1 out, and he gets the ground ball, and been real impressed with Tay Harris over there at third base with the arm strength. That time no panic at all. He goes over, taps the bag, and then just unleashes one across the scales to get out of the inning.
Yeah, and good awareness there by Harris to just go ahead and tag the runner at third, get that force out, and then a great job. He's a quarterback on the Chillicothe football team, so he shows off that arm strength with the throw from third to first to get that last out, keep that goose egg on the scoreboard for Western Brown.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of times you bring the corners in and you're thinking 4-1, but Harris, as that ball ended up taking him that way, I think he felt like the runner had a pretty good jump on him there, and he went and guaranteed the second out, and then obviously as you turn it loose across, and sometimes that's just, again, knowing where you're going with the ball on all types of ground balls, knowing who's running, where's the speed at, and man, that's a big play that you put a star. So I've got 2 stars down in my book. One on the Daddy hustle play back in the first inning to beat out a double play, and then Harris there defensively turning the double play. Back to the top of the order for Coach Barr and his Cavaliers in the bottom of the 4th inning. Connor Boland, the second baseman, he's 1 for 2. He hit a fly ball out to shortstop in the first inning and then singled to start the second inning. That ball goes straight back. It looks like it's going to be out of play to get us started here. This is the 3rd time in 4 innings that Connor Boland, from his leadoff spot, is leading off. So you don't always see that after that first inning, the obvious leadoff spot. But that helps Chillicothe stay kind of in line here offensively.
And you like having, your senior leader in that leadoff spot, setting the tone for your team's offense. It's what Connor Boland's done all season.
There he watches an 0-2 off-speed pitch break off the outside part of the plate. Maddox Barger, again, had come on in relief there in the third inning of Brendan Miller, and he pitched a scoreless third, now trying to do the same here in the fourth. That pitch comes in, and it hits him. So Connor Bolin on for the second time today. He earns that one a little bit more, wearing it right in the left leg. Jaden Gallagher will be your batter, and his speed in the two hole's been a factor. He had an infield hit off of a bunt, and that he scored the first of 5 runs in the first inning, and then he ended up the fly ball. Remember, that was the outstanding defensive play of Carter Saylor back off that ball that was coming back toward us. That was an outstanding high school play by the catcher, Saylor. Bolin runs on the first pitch, throw down, not in time. That's his second stolen base of the afternoon.
Yeah, we talked about the middle of the order showing off the speed early on, but Connor Bolin, the leadoff man, putting the wheels to work out there as well.
A lot of options here for Coach Barr if he wants to try to play out on. Good speed, good handle of the bat at the plate, going to swing it away. Taking on the outside part of the plate and ahead 2-0.
Also got the dangerous Tay Harris on deck for the Cavaliers.
So already up 5-0. Chance to Chillicothe to really put this thing away here. Fouls it off at the plate. Gallagher, good two-hole hitter. A lot of two-hole characteristics. Good bunter, good speed, hits from the left side. I think he gives Coach Barr a lot of options in this spot. Pitch misses down. Gallagher way ahead now at 3-1. Maddox Barger tries to keep the damage control and keep his Broncos in somewhat of a shot here in the second half of this ball game. Pitch here, dribbled foul up the first base line. Right idea for Gallagher. If you can't get a hit, you want to make a productive out and make sure you get that runner over. So ground ball to his pull side would do that. If ever you needed a strikeout, Maddox Barger, this would be a pitch that you really want to get aggressive with here. That ball gets in on his hands. He fouls it down around the picnic area.
It's a great at-bat here from Gallagher.
Yeah, it really is. And again, it just goes back to the two-hole characteristic talked about. Tough to strike out. That picnic area down there, of course, that's a great place to watch a game from. I've watched a couple already this year when we haven't been on the air. That's a really neat perspective down there. Plus someone like me close to the concession stand, but I didn't want to throw that in there. There's a swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch. Good battle, as you said, and Maddox Barger gets a big swing and a miss there to not only record the first out, but keeps Bolin out at second base and doesn't allow him to move up where it's obviously easier to get him in at third. Tay Harris, the one-out batter, singled back in the first inning, hit a fly ball out to right. He's 1 for 2. There's a fake at second now with one out, maybe afraid the speedy Bolin might try to take third. He's going to bunt the ball up the third baseline. It's going to be absolutely perfect, absolutely nothing they can do with it. Usually in that particular situation, the bunt defense has the third baseman staying home, so that's exactly what you want to do is bunt it as hard as you can at the third baseman. And just like that, we've seen the 3- and 4-hole hitter for Chillicothe not afraid to bunt. It's just the versatility that I was discussing earlier when talking about this Chillicothe offense. So first and third, Eshawn Brown's the batter. He shows bunt but takes it to allow Harris to move up on the, well, I don't know if they'd give it the stolen base there or not. I don't know that the defense really did anything to challenge it. Nonetheless, however you want to score it, you score it. It's second and third, one out.
That's what we call defensive indifference, John Bruce's favorite rule in baseball.
Yes. So if I act like I care that you're stealing, you get it. But if I don't, you don't. 1-1 to Brown. Good pitch to hit there, fouled it back. So now we talked about these situations where you need the strikeout. You're right back in one of these where Maddox Barger has the second and third one out. The defense appears in the middle to be back. So ground ball in the middle, they're probably going to give the run. So if you're Brown, you just want to try to find something and put it out there and play. You have good speed on the bases. Off speed, missed up, evens the count 2-2. See what Barger and Saylor have in mind here together as the Western Brown battery decides on an important pitch. It's the outside. Again, first base open. You don't have to give in to the four-hole hitter.
And if Eshawn Brown reaches first, that still puts the force out on. Not what you want, but still would definitely, as Eshawn Brown does draw a walk there, now the force out puts him out at any base.
Identical spot to where we were back in the first inning when Daddy hit that ground ball to second and he was able to beat it out. It's like Coach Wisman going to use timeout here and go out and talk to his pitcher. We'll stay here. You know, Carson, it's interesting in this situation. You get a lot of speed on the bases and you put a lot of pressure on the defense. And, you know, Daddy beating that ball out. I look down here. Bolin has a couple stolen bases. Let's see, I think Tay Harris, his speed. Eshawn Brown, his speed when Daddy beat that out. And then we've had some big swings down at the bottom of the order for Wrinkle and Day.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here for Western Brown. And so while the Broncos take a timeout to get the new pitcher warmed up, we'll take it with them.
Yeah, you're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. One very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health. Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Welcome back here at VA Memorial Stadium. Got a pitching change going on here in the bottom of the 4th inning with 1 out. Bases loaded of Cavaliers. Braylon Fletcher is going to be our 3rd Broncos pitcher of the afternoon. Right-hander is going to come in, and those 3 base runners will belong to Maddox Barger. Big opportunity here for Rucker Deddy. He takes the first pitch for a strike.
This is Fletcher's 3rd appearance from the mound this season. Had a pretty good outing back on April 8th in a loss to New Richmond. Went 5 2/3.
There's a good piece of hitting. Backside shot right up over top of the shortstop. It's going to bring 2 Cavaliers home, and Rucker Deddy enjoys his 2nd and 3rd RBIs of the afternoon. Now 7-0 Chillicothe.
There's a way to attack the new pitcher from Rucker Deddy, sending that ball right into the left center gap. Drives home 2. Cavaliers picking it back up offensively.
Brown stopped at second, so he's your lead base runner now. First pitch swinging from Scales, fouls it off. Scales walked and scored back in the 5-run first, and then He hit the one that I prematurely looked down at my book too quick. Remember, that was the E8 that ended up falling. Carson kept me in check on that one, I appreciate. I just still had him out. There's a foul ball out over top of first. Good hustle by Hatter to get all the way over to the fence. Rayner going as well, but that ball's going to fall just inside the fence. Foul. Fletcher ahead 0-2. Remember, those 2 runs that scored this inning would be charged to Barger. Brown still belongs to Barger, but then Daddy would then belong to Fletcher. So if you're scoring at home, I hope you have all that. This is off the plate. Now a 1-2 count. Fletcher comes set. Long hold. We're going to get a timeout there from Scales. Good job by Scales. I always say you don't want to let him freeze your base runners there. So now we'll reset. Brown leaves from first. Brown from second. Deddy from first. There's a fly ball up just off the infield. Looks like shortstop Wells is going to take charge again. He goes over and hauls that in for the second out of the inning. So now your 2-out batter will be James Wrinkle. Remember, he was our starting pitcher today. Was really, really sharp early. And now moving out to left field. He had a 2-run single back in the big first inning. Then he struck out swinging in the third. So he's 1 for 2. Pitch misses down. I was real impressed with Wrinkle there in the early going and the way he allowed Chillicothe to kind of settle into the game through a really clean start to this one.
Yeah, just showed a lot of composure, a lot of poise, and again, just went out, got guys down early, and a great job, too. We talked about it coming into this inning, but from Levi Moss, the guy that came in to relieve him, of shutting the Broncos down and keeping a goose egg to the name of James Wrinkle in the pitching totals.
That ball catches the corner. 2-1. Not a bad 2-0 take. Probably not what Wrinkle was sitting on at that point. So again, Braylon Fletcher trying to get his Broncos out of this jam. There's a good inside-out swing. That ball working away on the left fielder, but Aiden Jeter stays with it, hauls it in, and that will end the inning. Stay with us here. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here as we're off to the 5th inning, and Levi Moss, who had been on in relief of James Wrinkle, will continue to do the pitching here. He had come in and inherited the bases full of Broncos, got the ground ball over to Tay Harris, who stepped on the bag and threw an absolute BB across to Aiden Scales to not only get out of the inning, but get out of the inning with no runs. And then you come back in the bottom of the 4th, the Cavaliers add 2 more on, and they're threatening to break this thing open here.
Yeah, and that was just a great piece of pitching there from Moss in the previous inning. You come in, 1 out, bases loaded, not an ideal situation by any means. And Moss gets a great ground ball over to third. Tay Harris, again, showing off the arm strength to turn 2. Just incredible defense and great job by Moss to get that important ground ball, keeping Western Brown off the board.
Carson, I don't know how you feel about it. The feel of the game when it was 5-0, you felt like if Western Brown even got 1 or 2 there, that they were going to be right there down the stretch in this. But you get 0, then Chillicothe adds 2 more on. Obviously not over yet, because I always say baseball is not a time sport. Western Brown still has 9 outs of offense left, but obviously 7-0, a much bigger hill to climb.
Yeah, and you have the bases loaded, less than 2 outs, and you come away empty-handed. That's a big blow for your momentum. And if you're Western Brown, you just got to kind of have a short memory, forget about it, and come back in, try and chip away even more. Like you said, still 9 outs left to work with, so not the end of the world right now for Western Brown.
7-8-9 for Coach Wistman here in Western Brown. It'll be Rayner, Bradford, and Ewing. Looks like there's some equipment issue there for catcher Ethan Parks. Not sure. Looks around a minute. Some teams use the pitch comm stuff there. I don't know if that has anything to do with what they're looking at. Nonetheless, seems like they got it. Now we're ready to go as Moss will deliver to get the 5th inning started. Rayner swinging aggressively and fouls it back. Devin Rayner 0 for 1. He hit a ground ball to Tay Harris back in the 2nd inning on the 5-3 putout. That pitch misses down, evens us at 1-1. And right here at the bottom of the order, important for Moss to throw strikes, because if you're Western Brown, you're trying to get a couple of these first 2 guys on for the top of the order to turn over.
Both of these teams will resume league play on Monday. Chillicothe will do a battle with Hillsborough. Western Brown will make the trip over to Wilmington.
There's a fly ball to the backside. Right fielder Rucker Deddy had a good beat on it, hauls it in. Good job using the 2 hands for the opening out of the inning.
It looks like we may have had a defensive swap here, because it looked like Parks, who was previously the catcher, was the one who made that play out in right field.
Okay, I didn't get the number switched down here. Maybe that was the whole point of the catcher situation. Dion Bradford is the 1-out batter.
Looks like Deddy is the man behind the plate now for the Cavaliers.
Okay. Bradford flew out to center field back in the 3rd inning. So we got Deddy behind the plate, and that was Parks that gets credit for that put out and right. Ball's in there for a strike. 2-1 count. Dion Bradford, the center fielder, hitting out of the 8 hole here for Coach Wistman. It's a hard ground ball, just foul wide of 3rd. That was a close call there for Coach for Dion Bradford. That would probably been a definite double, and this young man's speed, that would have been fun to watch, but nonetheless just ends up being strike 2. Pitch misses just off the outer half, so count runs full. And again, as I said, if you're Western Brown, you're trying to get a couple of these guys on. If you're Levi Moss, you're trying to fill the zone for your Cavaliers. Good aggressive pitch, fouled off. We'll do it again. Good job of both sides there. That ball caught the umpire, I think. So you just see good baseball there. The catcher kind of walks out to the pitcher.
Give some time to recover.
Yeah, just give Mr. Umpire a chance just to gain there. You'll see the same thing a lot of times, Carson. The catcher catches one. You'll see an umpire walk it out there. I think those guys appreciate each other in terms of the wear and tear that you take throughout the day. Another 3-2 delivery. That ball skied way up in the air. Let's see if it's going to be Brown or Harris. Looks like Harris is calling it out, and he'll haul that one in for the 2nd out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down for Western Brown here in the 5th. That'll bring up the DH spot in the order, Colton Ewing. Colton Ewing struck out swinging back in the third inning. Remember, to start the game, it was pitcher Brendan Miller in that spot that he was hitting for.
Going with the traditional, yeah. I still think when I think of the American League and Major League Baseball, I still think of the designated hitter. I'm still still adjusting to the universal DH in Major League Baseball now, but he's got the traditional UDH for the pitcher role in this game.
Well, it could be just you've watched too much Cincinnati Reds baseball. Maybe they need to start giving their starting rotation a few swings. See if they hit.
I'd like to see an Andrew Abbott or a Chase Petty or Chase Burns at bat. Get Rhett Lauder some swings.
Well, I guarantee you someone like Chase Burns wouldn't get cheated. I bet he goes up and swings it hard. That ball misses up. Evens count 2-2. Here's Moss with a delivery and a swing and a miss and a nice job by Levi Moss. A 1-2-3 fifth inning. And we're off to the home half of the fifth. Chillicothe 7, Western Brown nothing. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Into the bottom of the fifth inning we go. Going to be 8-9-1 is the way Coach Barr will send his Cavaliers up to the plate. That'll be Day, Moss, and Bolin. Landon Day, big 2-run RBI. If you're just joining us, the Cavaliers were able to score 5 times in the first inning. Western Brown almost had a chance to get out of it with a double play. A good hustle from Rucker Deddy kept the inning alive. And then after an Aiden Scales walk, James Wrinkle and Landon Day with back-to-back 2-run singles. And just like that, it went from scoreless to 1-0 to 3-0 to 5-0. And the Cavaliers haven't looked back since, Carson, in terms of getting that production from all 9 spots in the order.
Yeah, anybody 1 through 9 in this Cavalier lineup, not to be taken lightly. Landon Day has had a couple big at-bats here, and he looks to lead off the fifth with some power.
First pitch in for a strike is Braylon Fletcher, who he's the third Bronco pitcher today. Remember, Brendan Miller started, and then Maddox Barger came on. Now Braylon Fletcher. That ball's fouled out of play. Day's actually 1 for 1 with a walk, so he's been on base both times. And getting out of that 8-hole, get that type of production, it allows you to go at all parts of the order, and it takes a lot of pressure off the top of the order. Here's a hard ground ball, shortstop. Montana Wells sets the feet. Fires across to Hayden Adder for the first out of the inning. One out batter will be Levi Moss. I think we're going to have a hitter there.
We are going to have a pinch hitter, and it's going to be Mick Monk for the Cavaliers. Pinch hitting for the pitcher, Levi Moss.
Okay, so Monk getting an at-bat here. And now that in high school baseball, if you're not familiar, that doesn't mean that Moss could not re-enter and pitch still. He'd still have, as a starter, he would have a re-entry opportunity. That ball's in for strike, but looking down there, it does look like we have activity in the Cavalier bullpen. That's kind of hidden from us on the picnic area side down there, but I can definitely tell that there's some action going on down there. And that's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. That's Fletcher's first strikeout. I believe that's the third of the day for the overall Bronco pitching staff. Back to the top of the order, Connor Bolin will bat for the fourth time today. He's been on base twice. He's 1 for 2 with a single hit by pitch. He also has a couple stolen bases to his credit. After the strike one, Bolin asks for time. Steps out there a little bit, and then now he seems ready to go. There's a ground ball charging hard as Wells tries the all-or-nothing play and can't come up with it. Probably an infield hit there for Bolin. I think the scoreboard agrees with me there. That has certainly been a tough error because a lot of shortstops at the high school level wouldn't even been able to get there to make it that close.
Yeah, and that was also just great effort from Wells, the shortstop for Western Brown, to even get up and be in position to field that and make the throw to first. So great effort, just unable to finish it, but a tough play regardless. Connor Bolin works his way on base for the third time.
Strike on the outside corner. Again, I mentioned Bolin with the 2 stolen bases, Fletcher with the high leg kick. See what Coach Barr has in mind. You try to stay aggressive. Keep in mind that the 10-run rule would still be in play, but at the same time, you get to that point, 7-0. Do you want to continue to run? It's always tough situations for coaches. Quickly ahead of Jaden Gallagher. Gallagher infield hit in the first. The pop in the foul ground to the catcher in the second, then struck out in the fourth. There's a pickoff there that gets away and dribbles down the right field line. Bolin will move up to second. So give the air to the pitcher, Fletcher, and he'll move up to second there into scoring position. As the at-bat for Jaden Gallagher will continue, but now in an RBI spot. If he's able to single, Chillicothe play a little add-on. There's a hard ground ball, second base, squared up well by Devin Rayner. He throws on to first, and that gets the Broncos out of it. We've played 5. It's been all Chillicothe. They lead at 7-0. Stay with us here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build. People want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Off to the 6th inning we go. It's been all Cavaliers. They lead at 7-0. For Western Brown, will be back to the top of the order with Montana Wells, Aiden Jeter, and Carter Saylor. We had the hitter in the 9-hole. And then, so as we said, we weren't sure if we'd have a re-entry or how Coach Barr would decide to do it.
Looks like Moss is back out there for more on the mound. He's done a great job in relief of James Wrinkle, the starter.
As we said in high school, because Moss was the original starter, gets a chance to re-enter there. That's a rule where you get a chance to get Monken at bat and then still have your pitcher back in play. Pitch, ground ball. Again, backhand from Harrison. That's the third time today that young man showed an outstanding high school arm to result in some outs. And you might say, well, what's the big deal there? I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. That young man's arm today has saved about 2 or 3 runs and rally situations for Chillicothe.
I talked about Tay Harris as a hitter in our pregame, but seeing him out at third on the defensive side of this game, he's been amazing this afternoon.
Yeah, no question. So gets the speedy Wells. Now the one-out batter is Jeter. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. There's a ground ball. Scales, he'll put the stop sign up for his pitcher who was coming over to cover, and that'll be the 3 unassisted put out for the second out of the inning. Good job of Moss moving that way as you're taught, but Scales knew he had plenty of time, not needing to risk the flip and just going ahead to the bag himself. There's a first pitch strike as Carter Saylor now is the 2-out batter. He grounded out to short in the first inning and then hit into a fielder's choice in the fourth. 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Swing and a miss as Moss quickly ahead. Been real impressed with Levi Moss coming in. Good pitching today for the Cavaliers. First James Wrinkle, now Levi Moss. There's a ground ball. Eshawn Brown had it momentarily, now lost it, now turns it loose. And that ball is going to get away, so that's probably going to go down as an E6. That's going to be the Chillicothe first error of the afternoon.
Yeah, I would say Eshawn Brown probably just was thinking a little too much about the throw before he actually had a chance to field it cleanly and get into throwing position. Sometimes, you just got to take a step back, slow things down, and take things one step at a time. No need to panic, though, for Chillicothe.
So the 2-out error will extend the top of the 6th inning for Sammy Gravel. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Did reach on a walk back in the 4th inning. And if you're Western Brown here, you're just in need of base runners. You're just trying to win spots and move the line, as we like to say. That pitch misses. Ball 1. I think we had a runner again over there for the catcher, Saylor. I apologize. I didn't see the number of that young man. Moss comes set. Hard ground ball. Just past Coach Wisman down there in the third base box. Again, on that runner at first, that's that courtesy runner that a lot of times they use in the non-conference.
It's going to be Caden Parker, that pinch runner, out at first.
Parker was the one that had come on to do the same there in the 4th inning. So Parker leading from first. Ball misses in, so now 3-1. So again, as I said, if you're Western Brown, you just got to keep competing. You're trying to get base runners here, and now all of a sudden you're one pitch away from getting a second guy on. And they'll do just that as that misses up. So Gravel walks for the second time in the game today. Now 2 on, 2 out. Xander Hamilton will be the batter. Hamilton struck out in the second, but then he did single in the 4th inning. So he has one of the 3 Bronco hits on the afternoon, and boy, could they use another one here to try to get on the board. That ball misses inside, so good patience by the Broncos hitters. I talked about, you look up at the board and it's 7-0, but it's baseball, not a time sport. You just got to continue to compete, and it may not pay off today, but throughout the year, it's just the right way. You got to be able to play the game, and it'll catch up with you, the good and the bad.
Oh, and especially in a league as tough as the one that Western Brown plays in, and we'll talk more about the way the Southern Buckeye Academic Athletic Conference is formatted, but in their side of the league, you've got Batavia, New Richmond, Clinton, Massey, who are all off to red-hot starts in this early season.
Ground ball to Harris, and he'll take the easy way and step on the bag. And Carson will hold that thought. Love to hear more about that conference, but that brings us to the end of the inning. 7-0 Chillicothe. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA. Brought to you by Ohio Health.
175 years. The Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Welcome back here as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Carson, you were telling us about the conference there. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier in the week with the Southern Hills Athletic Conference and also the TVC in our coverage area. The Southern Buckeye Conference, not one in our coverage area, but it's similar to the SHAC and the TVC in the sense that they play with two divisions. So you have the American Division, which contains the likes of Western Brown as well as Batavia, New Richmond, Clinton, Massey, Goshen, and Wilmington, usually the bigger schools in that league. And then the National Division with some of the more smaller schools. You got schools like Blanchester, Williamsburg, Claremont Northeastern, Georgetown, Bethel Tate, Felicity Franklin, and East Clinton. A lot of really good athletic programs all around over in that league, over in the likes of Clinton County, Claremont County, and Brown County.
Yeah, really a good format with the division sometimes because, again, enrollments just get to a certain point where there's not a whole lot you can do about it, and a lot of conferences have been creative here in the last 15 to 20 years on trying to keep those conferences together while still keeping some competitive balance. I believe we're going to have the fourth Western Brown pitcher of the day.
Yeah, this is going to be number 5, Devin Rayner, taking over on the mound from second base. Can't really tell who fills in the infield for the Broncos. We'll try and get that to you in a moment.
Chillicothe is going to have 3, 4, 5 up, Harris, Brown, and Daddy. Tay Harris working on a nice afternoon, 2 for 3. Back-to-back balls out of the zone as Harris is ahead 2-0. Harris singled in the first, hit a fly ball to right in the second, then a bunt hit, well placed up the third baseline in the fourth. There's a swing and kind of got in on the hands a little bit, tried to get the hands inside, got jammed a little bit. Still ahead in the count is Harris, 2-1. That pitch inside and going to catch Harris on the arm. That's the second Cavalier hit by a pitch today. So Harris will head on down to first base, and Eshawn Brown, the batter, 0 for 2, has on a walk. Now, I thought he was victim of a tough scoring decision back in the first, but I don't get a vote officially. He got a nice bunt that could have been for a bunt hit. Throw over to first had Harris leaning a little bit there. So statistically here on the board, he's 0 for 2 with the walk, but again, his speed certainly a factor in that 5-run first inning.
Yeah, definitely maybe not the result on the score sheet you want for Eshawn Brown, but definitely a productive at-bat there in the first inning that I think really gave the Cavaliers a push to put up those 5 runs early on.
Yeah, I agree. Fouls that off there, so Harris will continue to lead from first as Raynard comes set. Harris going. Curveball will hit and run action. Ground ball to short is going to stay out of a double play opportunity, and then that throw is going to pull him off the bag there. So Harris moves up, and Brown reaches there on the E6, and just like that, Chillicothe in business. And keep in mind with the 10-run rule, I mean, you're 3 runs away from capping it off here in the bottom of the 6th.
That's what Western Brown did to Hillsborough last night. Got to the 6th inning and decided to send everybody home a little early.
So 2 on, nobody out. Rucker Deddy and takes ball 1. Deddy's had quite the afternoon. He's 2 for 3. He had a 2-run single in the 4th, and then he had the fielder's choice on the where he beat out the double play back in the 1st inning. In my opinion, that's been the biggest play of the game to this point. The reason I say that is because if that double play's turned, then that 1st inning ends 0-0. Instead, it eventually ended 5-0 Cavaliers. There's a pickoff move back to second as Tay Harris dives back in safely. So Devin Rayner, the 4th Western Brown pitcher of the afternoon, as that ball misses away. And
I could be very wrong. I can't necessarily tell. What I was going to say during our timeout was the white jersey or the white text on yellow jerseys makes it very hard to see who is who out in the sun. But I believe that is, as that pitch misses low, I believe that is Tegan Jacobs who took over at second base for the Broncos. I could be wrong, but from my little ability to see out into the sun from where we're positioned, I believe Jacobs took over at second.
That ball misses, so we got a walk. So now all of a sudden, Chillicothe's loaded it up, and I think Coach Barr is going to go to the bench as well here.
Now batting for Chillicothe, number 21, Walker Throne.
So Walker Throne will come in and take the bat in the 6th hole for Aiden Scales. So Scales, again, doesn't mean he's done for sure because of the re-entry rule, but Scales was 0 for 2 with a walk. He was on base twice because he reached on the air as well. So Walker Throne will get this opportunity here with the bases full of Cavaliers, and the way it looks here over there at first base, that would be the 10th run if Chillicothe could get all 3 guys around.
Mike Withers-Ross also coming in to pinch run at first for the Cavaliers. Throne made an appearance in Thursday night's win over Waverly, walked and came around to score in that 13-5 win over the Tigers.
Good opportunity to get a lot of guys some varsity time here. There's a swing hit over there in that 5.5 hole, and a really good play from Wells. That was the only play he had, was to go over to third base and to get the out. So give Throne the fielder's choice, but the RBI. So that young man comes in, knocks a run in. Now 8-0.
We'll have another pinch hitter for the Cavaliers. This will be Mason Jacobson getting an at-bat. It was 0 for 3 in Thursday night's matchup here at the VA against Waverly. Got the start that night.
He's hitting in James Wrinkle's spot. So Wrinkle 1 for 3 today. Had the 2-run single back in the 1st. There's a fly ball out over top of shortstop. Wells, now the ball's down, and now they're going to have all kinds of a mess there.
I think they're going to say he caught it and then.
Oh, okay. So
and then doubled him up at second.
Yeah. Okay. So that looks like that will do it with the double play there. So we are going to play on and head to the 7th inning. Chillicothe 8, Western Brown nothing. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured Hit Tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
3 miles from the house for the Chillicothe Cavaliers. They lead at 8-0, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. It'll be 6-7-8 for Western Brown. Hatter, Rayner, and Bradford do up. We'll see if Coach Wisman does go to the bench. We'll try to get names, but it looks like that is going to be as planned there. Aiden Hatter will be our leadoff batter. Levi Moss continues to pitch. It's been an outstanding pitching and defensive performance from Chillicothe days. They're working on the combined shutout for Wrinkle and Moss. There's a shot down the left field line. Going to be foul. That ball's pretty well hit down by the Chillicothe bullpen. Long strike here to start the 7th inning.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of reaction from our crowd there. That ball had some zing coming off the bat. Just hooked it a little foul. Nice swing as we'll have an interruption here. Ball coming in from the Western Brown bullpen.
Yeah, trying to get a little work in down there. Off speed misses up, and for the most part, Wrinkle and then now Moss have been able to work ahead in the count. They've been able to make good pitches, and then their defense has been up to the challenge when called upon. There's a hard shot back up the middle. Great effort from Brown. Ball finds its way into center field, and Aiden Hatter has his first hit of the afternoon. That's the 4th Western Brown hit. I've got Wells for a hit. I've got Jeter for a hit. Hamilton for a hit. And then now Hatter. Devin Rayner, who started at second base, now doing the pitching. Takes ball 1. Been a tough afternoon for Western Brown. They've had some opportunities. Left about 5 on base here, if I'm counting those up on the fly here correctly. And there's been, I know 2 times for sure in my mind where they've just been one swing of the bat away from maybe cutting into the Chillicothe lead back when it was a 5-0 game. And if they could have done that, it could have been a different story.
And I think the turning point of this game was when James Wrinkle was pulled and Levi Moss came in to pitch. Bases loaded, 1 out. Moss gets that important ground ball. Tay Harris gets the force at third and launches it over to first for the double play.
Speaking of Harris, ground ball to Harris. He'll go to second, over to first, and that will be the double play. That goes Harris, Boland to Scales, 5-4-3. And just right on cue, the Chillicothe defense delivers.
I've just been really impressed with Tay Harris out in the field today. That man has made some outstanding grabs for the Chillicothe defense. He's done his job with his bat as well, but his glove been just as important.
Last chance here for the Broncos. Dion Bradford, the center fielder. He's 0 for 2. Fly balls to center and to third. And he lifts another fly ball. That's out there to right field, and that ball will be hauled in by Parson, and that will do it. Outstanding pitching and defense for the Cavaliers, sparked by a big-time 5-run first inning. Add it all up, and Chillicothe wins it 8-0. Shane Holmes, Carson Francis don't go anywhere. we'll take a little bit of a longer time out, but we'll be back with postgame to tell you all about how this one went and what these two teams have coming up.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at SOSAOhio.com.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. 1 chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here at VA Memorial Stadium. Post-game, Shane Holmes, Carson Francis. Glad you're with us here on SOSA, presented by the incredible support of Ohio Health. And Chillicothe wins it 8-0 as they were over Western Brown as they improved to 5-3. And to take a look back at the game, Carson, I think you have to start at the bottom of the first inning. So as I look down through the score sheet here, after the one out, Gallagher reaches on the infield hit. Harris singles. Eshawn Brown, that was the one that we said between the air and the hit. And then you had the great hustle of Deddy to stay out of what could have been an ending double play. Scales walks. Wrinkle, a 2-run RBI. Day, a 2-run RBI. And I guess that's been the theme of the day is the 5-run first inning. But throughout the day, there's guys all the way through the lineup giving Coach Barr something offensively.
Yeah, really just all around. We'll talk about defensively later, but I thought this was just a complete game for Chillicothe. And you look at that lineup, top to bottom, I think complete really just about sums it up. You had 8 hits overall, but then you had guys like, Eshawn Brown got on base twice. Tay Harris was 1 for 2. He scored 3 times. James Wrinkle had the big hit. Bottom of the first inning to drive home to. Landon Day had 2 RBI as well. Really just even guys that weren't getting base hits, there was some form of production top to bottom in that Chillicothe lineup. And when you're a team that's as young as Chillicothe or a team that's, not bringing as much experience back from a season ago, that's what you need. Just little piece by piece, top to bottom, you need guys that can just go out and contribute in one way or another. That's what Chillicothe did today.
Well, and that's the offensive side of it, but that's only really half of the story if we're being fair, because on the other side of the ball, Chillicothe was really, really good today in pitching and defense. Started with James Wrinkle, the lefty on the mound. Levi Moss, the right-hander, comes in, and they kind of split the shutout responsibilities from the pitching side of things, and then the defense was up to the challenge as well. I look down through here. I believe they struck out 6 Broncos today between the 2 of them. Only a few walks, so very, very efficient. But then as you look at I know you mentioned the defense of Tay Harris. He was involved in a couple key double plays there, none bigger than when Moss had come into the game 5-0, and he had the 5-3 on the throw across. I thought his arm was on display multiple times today.
Yeah, and again, I'll go back to that time where Wrinkle was pitching, gets pulled from the mound. He goes out to left field. Levi Moss comes in, bases loaded, 1 out. Chillicothe up 5-0. And even if Western Brown doesn't get all 5 in that inning, they get maybe 1 or 2, it gives them just a glimpse of momentum going forward. Levi Moss comes in, gets a huge ground ball to third. Tay Harris tags out the lead runner at third, launches it over to first to turn 2, inning over, and Chillicothe never looked back from there.
Yeah, no question about it. The double play, such a momentum playing high school. Obviously you get the 2 outs at the one time. It helps the pitch count, and just real impressed with them. While we're on Chillicothe, as they look into next week, this is kind of a nice little momentum builder for them. Now 5-3. I know they're 1-1 in the early FAC play, splitting with McLean. As you look ahead for Chillicothe, give me a thought on the Cavaliers in the upcoming week.
Yeah, they've got a week with 3 winnable games. 2 of them are in league play against Hillsboro. They'll host Hillsboro on Monday before making the trip out Route 50 on Wednesday, and then they're back at home Thursday hosting East Clinton. Those are 3 winnable games, and 2 of them especially, you can get to 3-1 in league play with 2 of them. Got to take it 1 game at a time, but you got to really like where you're at in this point in the season. If you're Chillicothe, you don't even have to win all 3. If you can win 2 out of 3 next week, that'll put you in a really good spot for the week after when you start a league series with Miami Trace.
Yeah, no question about it. No weeks off in that FAC for sure. Let's move over to Western Brown. They sent 4 guys to the mound today. I thought they all threw the ball fairly competitive with Miller and Barger and Fletcher and then Rayner. Defensively, they did have some miscues. Honestly, I thought a lot of that, they're responsible for their own defense, but I thought a lot of that had to do with the speed of Chillicothe and the pressure that puts on the defense. So I thought that was a factor. And up and down the lineup, I felt like they were a hit away 2 or 3 times. So you look here and you get shut out. You got a 0 up on the run column, only 4 in the hit column. But overall, I still think there's some pieces there for Western Brown. I know they're off to a rough start, but I think that it's a baseball team that still has some of its best baseball ahead of it.
Absolutely, and if you're Western Brown, you play in a kind of a tough league. You've played a rough non-league schedule already, but they've showed signs. Obviously, last night they put up 11 runs in that win over Hillsboro. They just got to stay the course, stay together. Even when they weren't, only 4 hits, but I thought some of their guys put together some really good at-bats throughout the day. So if you can just piece some things together throughout the course of this long season, you're going to have an opportunity to win some ball games. They're going to have a chance to do that Monday when they start a league series with the Wilmington Hurricane. Wilmington hasn't won a game yet, so obviously you don't want to take them lightly. But again, like I talked about with Hillsboro and Chillicothe, that's a winnable game for the Broncos. A 4-game week awaits Western Brown. They'll play Wilmington Monday, Wednesday, sandwiched in between those 2. They'll take on Cincinnati Trailblazers on Tuesday night at home, and then Friday night they'll travel to they'll be back here at the VA for a battle with Miami Trace in a non-league contest.
Wow, that'll be fun as well. And just for some of our viewers over in the Mount Orab area, maybe you joined us late. You're wondering about how your Broncos were doing on those 4 hits. I mentioned the pitchers earlier, but offensively, Wells had a hit. Jeter had a hit. Gravel walked twice, so he's on base a couple times there. And then Hamilton had a single, was 1 for 3. So overall, again, up and down the lineup, some potential there. So before we get out of here, I want to give a shout-out. We have SOSA Overtime over the weekend. We appreciate Perfection One for all their support. John and I will be back in the studio this weekend, so look for that early in the week. The Haynes Total Health Care Coaches Call-In Show, that'll be coming up Sunday night here on SOSA. And then as we move into next week, have we set in stone? I know there's a lot of conversation. We're going to start trying to do a couple games a week. What we got on tap here?
Well, we're still trying to figure out next week, but all week next week there's going to be plenty of good games out here at VA Memorial Stadium, so we'll decide on what we want to look at. Maybe a game or 2 Wednesday night we want to put on stream, but if not, if we don't do anything on stream, want to encourage you guys, get out and watch some baseball. We've got at least 1 or 2 games here every night. I think next Saturday we're going to have a 4-gamer here at the VA. So great opportunity to get out and catch some local baseball. If your school's playing, encourage you, go watch your school play. It's always a fun time of year here in Southeast Ohio, but if we do decide to stream a game, we will be sure that you are aware of it, get you the date, time, and how you can watch it. We'll have it right here for you on our YouTube channel.
Well, it's a lot of fun. What a beautiful day. Enjoy it if you're out there on so many Little League opening days. It's a great time of year as baseball is in full go, and we're excited to talk about it and bring it to you for both baseball and softball here on SOSA. So thank you, John Bruce, next door, doubling up there with the camera for Carson Francis. I'm Shane Combs. Final score for the final time, Chillicothe beats Western Brown 8-0. So long, everyone.